Фоминов, Долгохил, Ухов.
Ну, сейчас Александр Иванович скажет, сколько там, ведь уже
Ухов,
вот
Щеголев.
появился. Потому что лишних-то немного.
Щеголев, потом Носкова. Носкова.
Да. А она вчера не было ничего, в 6 не было.
Миллионы вопросов и один точный источник ответов. РУ-Вики. Ваш гид в мире знаний. Более 2 миллионов материалов. Статьи проверяются экспертами. Получайте мгновенные ответы в вашем ритме. На ходу. На языках народов России. Экономьте время, фокусируясь на главном. Пишите, создавайте. Получайте призы в сообществе авторов. Точная информация по вашим правилам. Электронный помощник на пути к высшим баллам. Знания в каждом прикосновении. Мы развиваем мир свободных знаний. Современно, технологично, доступно, точно. РУ-Вики. Интернет-энциклопедия. Знаешь, где узнать.
Вот что двигает мой бизнес. Открытие магазинов и диалог для обмена документами онлайн. Сезонные новинки и фокус для проверки поставщиков по актуальным данным. Команда мечты и толк для совместных встреч онлайн. Баланс во всем и экстерн для учета и отчетности. С сервисами «Контур» мой бизнес надежно экипирован и работает как надо. Экосистема «Контур». Экипируем на все случаи бизнеса.
Лаборатория Касперского. Технологический лидер и единый партнер по кибербезопасности. 220 тысяч компаний в 200 странах и территориях доверяют нашей глобальной экспертизе и лучшим в своих классах продуктам, эффективность которых подтверждена многочисленными тестами, рейтингами и наградами. Лаборатория Касперского. Активируй будущее.
RedSoft – российский разработчик системного программного обеспечения для информационных инфраструктур любого масштаба. В линейке продуктов RedOS, Red-виртуализация, Red ADM, система управления базами данных Red базы данных. Продукты RedSoft – основа безопасной, технологически независимой информационной инфраструктуры, обладают открытой экосистемой совместимых продуктов, что позволяет создавать гибкие решения для организации бизнес-процессов любой сложности.
Виртуализация жизненно необходима для современных IT-сред. Однако для развития и защиты бизнеса следует тщательно выбирать решения по виртуализации. Выбирайте надежные решения, предоставляющие значительные преимущества, наибольшую экономию и высочайшую скорость реагирования на бизнес-потребность. Облачную платформу SpaceVM.
Технологии UserGate не обращают внимания на географию и границы, обеспечивая надежность в любой точке цифровой вселенной. Мы заботимся о том, чтобы вам было комфортно и безопасно каждый день. Мы защищаем вас, пока вы меняете мир к лучшему.
Предприниматель бесконечно может смотреть на три вещи. Как горит огонь в глазах команды, как растет поток клиентов и как работают деньги. Откройте расчетный счет в Акбарсбанке с доходом 15,5% на остаток. Мы – Банк «Зенит». Оказываем полный спектр финансовых услуг. Эксперт в комплексном обслуживании корпоративных клиентов. Активно развиваем розничные банковские услуги и private banking. Ваш банк «Зенит».
Вот уже более 70 лет мы создаем энергию. Силу, которая движет миром и способствует его развитию. Сегодня Татнефть – эффективная международная компания, активно развивающая более 20 бизнес-направлений. От нефтегазодобычи, нефтепереработки, шинного, розничного бизнеса до биотехнологий, генной инженерии. Гордимся, создавая ценности на благо людей.
Коллеги, добрый день. Давайте будем.
Good morning, dear colleagues. I guess we shall start with our session. My name is Pomenov Andrei. I'm the first Deputy Minister of Education and Science of the Republic of Tatarstan, and I will be the moderator of this session. And I would like to introduce our speakers. Today with us we have Sergey Pukhov, head of the department ITech of Business Russia, expert of the Entrepreneurship Council at the RAIS of the Republic of Tatarstan, Shegaleva Yulia, Director on the Development of the Electronic Encyclopedia RUVIKI, Noskova Tatiana, Head of the Department of the Digital Education of the Russian Pedagogic University named after Gertsen, St. Petersburg, Yusif Zadeh Ilgar, Mr. Zeagli, Director, CEO, Discover Soft, Kazan, Russia, and we expect that two speakers will be joining us. Mr. Dmitry Yagupov, head of the communication with the from the Ministry of Digital Technologies of the Republic of Uzbekistan, head of the Cooperation Office, and Gohild Kharmesh Nareshkum, founder and general director of 11 Vision Limited from Mumbai, India. Dear friends, dear colleagues, we are hosting one of the sessions today dedicated to the digital technologies in the educational process and education as a whole. Totally, we have 15 sections as such within the forum, and these things related to the digitalization of education we review within those sections. Well, we will look at it from various points of view. The majority of the sessions have happened yesterday. Lots of interesting discussions were there. Those who have visited were able to witness it themselves. However, I would like to continue with this discussion and maybe to get answers to the questions, what do we want from the implementation of the digital technologies in the educational system? It might be the savings of time, it might be the savings of staff, it might be the savings of money. But globally, what is the advantage of it? Will we be able to get the answers to these questions throughout our discussion? And I do not know the answer to these questions today, but we are going to advance towards this purpose. The following I propose: presentation each for 5 minutes each, and I request the speakers to stick to the timing of our work. I guess we shall start, and I would like to give the floor to Mr. Pukhov, from CEO of Pukhov of ITech. Another notification: you can go to the stand, or you can like speak from the place. There are people to scroll the presentation, right? Okay, let's start like from the very point. Okay, can we please put on the presentation? Okay, thank you. Certain we have like a technical pause. Thank you so much for the introduction. Good morning, dear colleagues. My name is Pukhov Sergey. We're going to speak about the changes in the perception of media information during digitalization. And we're going to review this presentation from the point of view of education as getting the new skill sets, like when you get the education in order to, to improve yourself and to advance forward in your, say, professional career. And we're going to speak now about the market, the employment market. In 2024, the market was for the staff, and there was a big deficit of staff, but this situation reversed. And now the market is on the side of the employer, and the main trends that the Headhunter resource gives us for the year 2025. These are the skills are becoming more important than the presence of the diploma. The AI is the key aspect of strongly affecting the decision of the employer to employ the staff member. Well, and in the year 2024, there's have formed the trend towards the fact that people start, there's more attention now to the wishes of the staff member. But year 2025, considering the big changes in economy and conditions, the business has to optimize, and it has to be optimized to the staff. And the top priority now is not within the expert having one skill, but the multifaceted specialists that can adapt to suit the new systems. And here we have like the outcomes. What are the hard skills that are becoming the key ones? The first one today is the usage of AI, and the expert knowledge is in the top priority. As I have said, now we need the experts of one skill, because we need the basic tasks can be solved through AI, but the analysis of the results of the AI and the outcomes from it, for that we need a very narrow specialization and very good and vast experience in terms of expertise. So this is the skill-oriented vector of the development. So there's less investment, and it's now being replaced with automation. The second one, soft skills. Self-training, self-education, and employer is now putting it onto the employee. And so the skill of proper research and self-training is one of the key skills. Creativity and performance skills. Talking about the content and even the ideas, it's not a problem to generate amount of ideas, and the soft skills. There are trends that the vector is to hunt the ready-made specialists, because the creativity is the parameter which is, really hard to put on the KPI. And to continue with this topic, when we speak about training from the point of view of the media information, well, infrastructural problem of training from the side of consumption of media content. And we see that the majority of training the employer is putting onto the staff member, and there's many of that in the media format. When we're going to look in the report on the consumption of media information, we understand that the genre of the documentary video content at various platforms, it is 5% for the age 18 to 54, whereas the share of movie series and entertaining content is taking half of the time, of 50%. So that is and the trend is not the same, not in line with the perception of the market. So, as we have seen, the popularization of content-producing platforms and the popularization of content production platforms of the short format, it reveals the lack of soft skills, because the information, there's a bright provision of information, absence of the formation of the long concertation of focus of attention into one idea, avoiding long-term strategies and delayed results as a result of it, because now there's like a clip thinking, that everything has to be quick result, quick achievements, and so that the meanings will be coming from the outside. And we have certain comparative table. So the target is to form 4 key skills, and there are problems also problems going in line which object the formation of these skills. Proposals to have the correction, they are related to many cases and many tools that can be implemented into the educational process at any stage, whether it's a lesson, a practice, a lab work, or whatsoever. Any type of educational process, And so on top we can see the task within which we work, like to form the structured requests, and then there is a method. So first one, this is mini brief Oscar. That is a very brief structure where we formulate within 5 lines. We formulate the topic, the boundaries, and the expected results. So we assist the specialist to form the request. And that is the prompt to be put into the AI, because it is the quality of the output will be dependent on what you put in that prompt. Then focus slots, and we form a set of tasks, and depending on the timing we put down where do we stop. So this is like tracking of your results. That is in order to control your attention, so that you are not losing attention and that you understand what you're focused on at any given time and what are the intermediary results. So the third one is the working for the results and search for optimal methods of solution of the tasks, considering the personal space and the information that is being formed. That is the skill to form hypothesis. The formation of hypothesis is that it can be templated. If I do X, then I'll get Y, because there is reasoning Z, something like that. And the key factor is not only the absence of the skill to generate hypotheses, but to put the priority onto all of them, like prioritizing them. One of them is the evaluation of hypotheses based on 3 factors. That is how useful this hypothesis will lead to the result. Second one, how convinced you are that it's going to work out. And the other one is how difficult it is to achieve it. So this is the formula where we get a certain evaluation of points, or there's use of it. Where do you start? So we allow to optimize the time. With regards to the performance skills, this is the tool of idea versus quota, where within this sprint we give the opportunity to generate number of ideas, and the evaluation is based on the fact what is the share of the generated ideas, which ones are alive, which ones are practice used, the forced connections, and this is the certain kind of mnemotechnics where we train the specialist to find common points and goals. As Peter first smartphone, we understand that this is like a power tool plus the IT technologies, maybe an interface or the application of the state services. So in various clusters we propose the person to make up like a generalization, expanding the thinking, like for the person to think outside of the box. What are the problems of adoption of the information or information intake? And that is the problem of the rapid content. And the main recommendations are the mechanics, which will preserve the focus of attention of the audience and the students towards the content. Getting feedback every 10 minutes, for instance, interactive interaction and gamification with the audience. Here we are talking that like the tutor or the moderator can say that there will be a sign or certain tools of gamification which will maintain the attention of the audience throughout the whole, say, lecture or time. Brightness, and the dynamics, and change of exposition every 1 minute. Talking about the children's education, that should be happening even more often. Gamification to maintain the attention, and the access of habit, and this is like getting the awards for execution of all of the targets. Then the progress, and then stimulating over the small wins, and the drive axis related to short-term challenges, like a weekly ones with leaderboards split into groups or couples. And so this that is the approach that we have developed ourselves. Thank you so much. Sergey, thank you. Any questions? What are the questions from the audience, if any? Please. We are the IT company. We develop the solutions in education. And I'm very interested in your opinion. Do we have the tendency that the targets are set from the outside? Who is providing the targets or the problems to be solved, with AI or some other? Like the new generation, they will be the executors. Who will be the leader? Thank you so much for the question, and really the problem is quite open here, and it is related to the fact that if we speak about the employment market, the key deficit of staff here, it's not with the executors and not with the top managers. It falls onto the linear executors. And currently, I will answer your question that this cluster of people that set the target for people, plus the AI is not going AI is not going to replace the people in the leading roles. So there's deficit of such leaders. Any additional questions, if any? Sergey, please let me ask you. So quite a scary numbers you have announced, that in the most productive age from 18 down to 54, only 5% we have the demand for documented content. Mainly this is the entertaining content. Out of what you have presented today, do I understand correctly that we want to go into this territory? Well, you propose the system of education to transform it in such a manner so that the perception of people in this age group, so they would suit the current psychology. You were talking about the clip thinking. So are we going to establish, are we going to organize the content in such a manner, or we will work with people? That is a fundamental question. We have only two vectors of development. And the clip thinking, it is not formed within the educational environment, but within the family. And that is the matter of educating the parents with regards to how they organize the time of teenagers. So there are only two methods. Either we establish the mechanics through which we have education for the parents, and so that they understand more and they understand the problems of the content consumption, or we just work with what we have and try to compensate it somehow through various methods and tools, so that these tendencies are stopped or reversed. Yeah, thank you. And the question to any speakers, any of the speakers, please try to answer it, or maybe to announce your vision on the basis of the results of your presentation. Well, it might be a global question. We won't get precise answers, I believe, but at least we shall think about it. We, within the system of digitalization, or within the system of coordinates on digitalization of education, we are for many years over there. And just at the example of our republic, and you, Sergey Alexandrovich, you're aware of it, we started in the 2010 to the, so the generation of school children have passed it already, surpassed it. In your opinion, what have changed And is the education now better than it was before? Just formulate your vision in a number of phrases. Well, that is a big question. But with regards to the tools, so that, for instance, the students or school children, that they would adapt and accept the world or observe it through the new tools and instruments. The infrastructure here has changed, but with regards to the methods of study, considering their current scenario of information intake, the amendments are minimum from the point of view of methodology. With regards to infrastructure, new platforms, new tools of training, here the progress is big, it's huge. And here is a big achievement that was done by the Ministry of Education of the Republic. But for future focus, talking about year 2030, that is the innovations. They have to be in place in the methods how we are going to deliver information. Any additional questions for Sergey? I propose to move forward. And Yulia Sheglev, Director on the Development of Electronic Encyclopedia RuWiki. Please, Julia, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm so happy to welcome you at this wonderful event. Thank you to the organizers for inviting me to speak up at this conference. I would like to give you some information about an encyclopedia and about the methods and approaches that can be used in educational projects. Our encyclopedia is rather young. We have been established in just a couple of years ago in 2020. But we have been developed very quickly and actively. We are based on Wikipedia resource, but we have differences in organizational and technological approaches to our development. We have our focus on two main things: is trustworthiness and technological approach. RuWiki has more than thousands of articles in the Russian language, and together with the Russian Academy of Science, we check the information in these articles, and the Russian Academy of Science is dealing with this work, and they continue to check the materials. Our main advantage is that we implement the artificial intelligence techniques. We use it in different spheres as to actualize information in the articles, referencing of the articles or the papers. We use the Yandex GPT technology, and the neural net helps us to formulate the questions and the tasks, even if the task is not that clear at the first glance. The neural tools, they help us to make the paper either shorter or adapted or adjusted to some easier language if it should be read by children, for example. So if you're willing to read an article, you just have to press one button. And our main advantage, or the RuWiki advantages, we prioritize the content, prioritize our content, which is compiled in our articles. We try to avoid using non-checked or harmful content. Our audience is growing exponentially. At the beginning of this year, it was 21 million of unique users, and now it's already 25 million of users. And we, of course, looking forward to the audience to grow more. Our partners and our colleagues are not only the Russian Academy of Science, but also other significant players on the market. This is the Ministry of Culture of the Russian Federation. This is a presidential library named after Boris Yeltsin. And of course, other organizations. Just next week, we are going to sign an MOU with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Ecology of the Russian Federation. It will help us to enrich our collection of articles, of course. And I think you have heard that recently the materials of the Russian big encyclopedia have been transferred to the RuWiki platform, and we will be doing our best in order to preserve these materials and preserve the access of the users to these materials. One of our strategic tasks is the integration of our resources and materials into the educational process. That is why we implement a lot of projects and initiatives. This year we have created a separate portal, separate platform on our website that helps the school pupils, the school students, to prepare for the exams, for the exams to the university, for the university admission. It contains a lot of questions, a lot of tasks that will be listed then in the exam materials. This platform is in very high demand. The second direction is our interaction with the universities and professional educational institutions. First of all, students can get some practical experience. They work together with our curators and tutors. They try to renew the materials, to enrich the materials that already is present on the platform, and they can also engage themselves into writing their own articles. And the second direction of working with the students is the Institute of Volunteers. We have monthly, more than 800,000 volunteers who participate in our work, and most of them are students. As part of this volunteering agenda, the institutes or universities can also find solutions for their own tasks, because they, for example, can prepare a range of articles that will be published afterwards on their own websites. Soon, we are going to implement a project together with the Moscow Institute of Linguistics. This is a new project for the Russian Federation. It's about the light language. This is for people with disabilities in reading the actual language, and this will become a separate platform on our website as well. And we hope that this project will be growing as well. Also, we are planning to announce our integration project with Spherum. And RuWiki then will be the content will be distributed according to the age restrictions, and they will be also distributed on topics. And we are also planning on integrating with the National Messenger Max. We have part of our platform which is presented in 21 languages of the peoples of the Russian Federation. You can see the languages listed on the slide. This is a very important task for us as well, in order to preserve the languages, because unfortunately some of them are not stable at the moment, and it's very hard to find the editors who is capable of creating good content in this language. This is a huge work that has been conducted in our times. It is very significant it is a very significant task to compile all these materials so that the AI in the future will be able to learn from these texts and materials. Of course, I should mention the Tatar language part of our encyclopedia. This is one of the most read platforms of our websites, and it contains of more than 600,000 articles in Tatar language. And of course, this is thanks to the proactive work of our colleagues from the Republic of Tatarstan. We also have a lot of initiatives that we would like to implement, and I hope, of course, I'm looking forward for the exponential growth of the amount of materials in Tatar language on our platform. During this forum, we have signed an MOU with the Academy of Sciences of the Republic of Tatarstan, and we are looking forward for more new interesting projects and initiatives. We are going to ensure the quality of the high quality of the articles and materials in Tatar language, because the colleagues from the Republic of Tatarstan are going to check the content, check the whether the language is used correctly, so because we want to use the highest standards of the Tatar language. And one of the projects for students or school students, this is our joint projects with the youth organization Salet. This year we just signed a contract with them. We are now looking for the participants to this project who will, for the school project, they as part of this project, the students are going to learn how to write papers, how to write articles, how to find sources for your work. And our curator, together with the curators, they are going to present and publish their materials on our website. The project is going to cover more than 100 of participants, and I think that in December we are going to get the first results. And together with our colleagues from Salet, we are looking towards a brighter future, towards this project to go on, to live on. Thank you very much once again for attention, and thank you very much. My gratitude to the organizing committee of this forum and of this particular session. This is a great opportunity to present my own information and also to actualize my knowledge about the work of my colleagues. Thank you very much. Yulia, thank you very much. Colleagues, do we have any questions? If I understood correctly, Sergei Antonov, I represent the city of Kazan. Did I understand it correctly that that apart from Wikipedia, you are using another approach? Yes, we are using the principle that is used by Wikipedia. Every person can become an author of materials or papers that are published, but the difference from Wikipedia or the RuWiki is that we are checking, fact-checking and proof-checking the information and published in these articles. Thank you very much, colleagues. And Yulia, the questions that I asked previously to all the speakers, what is your opinion on how the educational system has been changed with the beginning, with the outset of using the digital technologies? I do agree with the previous speaker that on the one hand, education has now been enriched with many interesting and very useful tools, but at the same time, these instruments, these tools, they replace the quality of education, or sometimes they become a complementary load for the teachers. Sometimes it seems to me that the teachers are now forced to use some of the information technologies, and at the same time, the educational process is suffering from lack of time and lack of attention of the teachers. And of course, the content consumption is growing. The length of the time that we spend on the websites is also growing, because the normal time is just 1-2 minutes, but now it's growing. And of course, we have now the systems in order to shorten the articles so that we can attract more attention. But we do hope that the quality of content remains as well and will be on demand. Thank you very much. If there are no questions left to Yulia, I'd like to give the floor to our next speaker. We have Mr. Guhajam Rishkum, the director of 11 Vision Limited, our colleague from India. Are you ready to continue?
Hello, my name is Dharmesh. I am from India, and I'm into EdTech, and I'm a tech entrepreneur. So today the topic is the training the future workshop in the immersive technology skill. So how the technology works using the this immersive new tech solutions. So here is the digital technology in the education. Here you can see my photo with one of the kids. So we are making augmented reality technology learning toy for the kids. And also we are making virtual reality and XR reality for the higher education. So I have a 14 years of experience in the digital innovation and the immersive solution. And also I work with 3 companies, and also I have appointed as an in-country partner for the professional exchange program in the Oklahoma University. So why I am here? Because to share how digital technologies are not just shaping in the classroom, but the future workshop, and also the bring real world experience from the kindergarten to the innovation in the industries workshop training. So changing the landscape of the education, like if you can see AR, VR in education is the biggest market. It's like $32 billion by 2030. And it will create the lots of job, because by 2030, 85% of the job will require the digital skill. And why it's matter? Because technology isn't luxury anymore, because it's essential of the learning and the employability. With the right tool, we are learning become interactive and engagement. Student also gain the skill future workshops, and also the inclusive of the scalable. So here you can see we are working in the 3 domains, like kindergarten, schools and college, and the higher education. So I have my own product we are selling in India and across the world using augmented reality fun learning toy. And also we got the recognition from our Prime Minister of India in 2022. And that kindergarten learning tool is like learn with the fun and visual. And it's a very interactive and joyful. If you want to see, I have a demonstration of the product here. After the session, I will show you. And for the school, we have a visual immersive solution. And for the higher education, we have the XR solution, that the very advanced simulation that the medical, aerospace, engineering students can use. And also we have integrated artificial intelligence on the this immersive solution. So why it's bringing the skill gap? Because you can see the current education is like very much to the book side, not in the practical side. So if you want to visit some Indian company, it's very difficult. You can see in the photos or some videos, you cannot experience. But we made the solution like if you are here, just wear the XR device, visit the industry, you can interact with people. Also, you can simulate the tools. So it's very easy to learn and also interactive. So artificial intelligence and the XR in education. So why it's very interactive? Because XR simulation is majorly giving you the best experience in the real world, but it's virtual. You can visit anywhere, you can travel anywhere, you can feel anything like in here. So I have a virtual device also. So guys, if you want to explore that experience here, to visit some Indian company and use some tools, I can give you the demonstration. So now we can talk about the data economy. So if you can see the build the digital empowerment, empower the economy, and also the promote the local innovation and the reduce the dependency of the foreign technology, and also the language. So we can integrate the local language as well. So as you can see, like a self-relevant ecosystem where the technology is created in the nation and for the nation. So the science and education collaboration, how it is work. So it is a scalable and the realistic training. Also, it is a applicable across all the industry, not in the limited, all the industry. Artificial driven insight. So artificial intelligence will give you the analysis, performance, your skill gap, where you are lack of your performance. So they will give you and you will improve your skill. And also it is a cost and risk reduction, because if you travel some other countries, you can spend lots of ruble. But if you are using virtual device in education, it's very cost effective. And also it is a measurable performance gain, like deliver the data metrics in the track program. It is an also efficiency to reduce the real world scenario. So the summary is the digital technology is redefining the education at the every level. So AR, VR, XR, AI is not just a tool. They are the bridge of the opportunities. So the closing thought is technology in the education is not about the replacing the teacher, but it's about the empowering them and their student to reach the new heights. Spasiba.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Sudaresh. Do we have any questions?
Interesting and helpful performance. I have such question. There is such opinion among specialists and scientists that using too much technology harms our health,
yes,
our brain, especially if we talk about children, young generation. In your opinion, is there any balance between using technology for our education, our joy, and keeping our health strong? Are there any long-term consequences of using technology?
Yes. So I can say there is a XR solution with the simulation. In India, we are using that solution. The students of the medical and science and even the biology, they are using that technology. And they also do the medical things using that thing. So you not require any kind of other sources, like for the biology you not require the physical things. In the medical you not require the real body. But if you wear that device, you can see the real body in the virtual world. You can do the operation, you can do the surgery, and there is no harmful.
Because we're a world, because we are representatives of educational system. That's why I think there can be consequences. I mean, physical consequences.
Yes.
That's why it's very serious issue.
Mm-hmm.
Using, especially if we talk about using virtual and augmented reality.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
Спасибо, коллеги. Еще.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions left? There are no questions. I would like to give the floor to the next speaker, but of course every one of you will be having an opportunity to meet our colleague from India and to learn about the tools and instruments that he has presented already. Thank you very much.
Speaker.
So the next speaker is Tatiana Noskova, head of the Department of Digital Education of the Russian State Pedagogic University, named after Gertsen, St. Petersburg, one of the most renowned pedagogic university of Russia, and the Department of Digital Education is widely known in our country and abroad as well. Dear colleagues, sending you the greetings from St. Petersburg. I'm very grateful for invitation to take part in this forum. Andrei, of course, the question to me, related to quality of education. I will do my best to react. I really enjoyed what you do for the education and how we shall implement it into the educational practice. But I will stop on the most critical topic from the point of view of digitalization, which is related to the transformation of the labor or technology lessons. Now we are very actively implementing AI in that, and our graduates, unfortunately, they're not going to schools because they know technologies very well, and consequently in the other sectors the salaries are way higher, but the lessons of labor and technology, here we have a big problem that from the students' side. The demand is different, and the digitalization and the data-driven economy, and we have to prepare staff for the industry 4.0 and even 5.0, and there's UAVs, digital production, and we shall start training people at school, and we know the lessons of labor that we very good in woodworking, metalworking, the machines, and teachers of the technology, they remained at such a level, and now we need to transform the lessons of labor or technology so that there's early orientation of students towards the future engineering professions. And there's a big federal program of general education where and this year this is the working program. This is including 3D modeling, industrial design, prototype production, technologies of digital production, additive and nanotechnologies, robotics, systems of automated control, technologies of electrotechnics, electroenergy, and that is the new standards of our real life, and so the students have to be prepared for that. And a whole range of new problems arise out of it. And digitalization of education can solve a number of them, plus the resources that are being created and by the industrial partners and by the teachers themselves. And talking about digital transformation of education, today all schools are equipped with computer equipment connected to high-speed internet, but we understand that the IT classes are being equipped and not the labor classes. In schools today, and the students are very actively using the presentations, mobile gadgets, and it is difficult to get access to those tools to the labor teacher. Of course, the access to the educational resources really assists, and if in the recent years we were based on the Russian electronic school, Moscow Electronic School, a library of digital content of the Academy of Ministry of Education. In the recent years, we have created a unified platform of the federal state platform called My School. We have connected to that through the state services. The parents and students are getting connected. And over there, pretty much all of the general subjects of general education, they have electronic educational resources which underwent the state expertise. There's a back office for teacher that is created, and they can transform the resources, electronic diaries, and various servers. So this is a unified platform for all of the country. And there are no such things in the United States. And I worked in 6 European countries, and based on that project, we are ahead of them on the unified standard, such an access. Talking about the lessons of technology and labor, there is lack of resources. If all of the resources they are standard, and all of the teachers of labor, they are not willing to create new resources, and gradually they are creating. Since September, there are new resources, but not covering the whole range that is required based on the new standard. And of course, here is the other problem. This is the digital skill set of the labor teachers. And we are developing the digital skill sets of all of the teachers. And talking about UNESCO standards, they include 22 skill sets in 6 areas. This is a professional interest into the digital processes, creation and usage of digital resources, training of education, evaluation on the basis of new standards, of course, and the block to which the labor teacher, that is the expansion of opportunities of students to develop the digital skill sets. And so there are many competencies and skill sets that have to be formed by the teacher from the students. And new challenges, that is the usage of AI in education, which we just start to implement. Next week there will be a conference in Krasnoyarsk with the Siberian Federal University, and over there's one of the key topics, working with big data and working with AI. I shall note that all teachers of all of the subjects, pandemics really pushed us to come to a certain level, and I shall note that all of the teachers, and we have had a research, and they are using the services for distance education, including the Spherum, and I'm not going to list all of the services. Many teachers do understand if they can switch on something, they believe that they have the digital skill sets. Switching on and switching off is just the basic level. And I'm going to speak also about the fact that for labor teacher, the level of demanded skill sets is way higher, and it should relate to such things as IoT, 3D modeling, robotics, additive technologies, automated control systems. All of that is related to the digital environment. I'm not talking about use working of the 3D printers, laser engravers. These are not difficult skill sets, and also understanding the knowledge of software, so to have the programming of the environments. And here from the student teacher, they need to understand how to construct, to model the technical process, to widely use digital simulators, augmented reality measures, which we mentioned. All of that, in certain measure, assists to replace to the real equipment, but digitalization replaces the work with the real devices. But this has to be a mixed approach because they should be able to work with their hands. Talking about the problems today in the subject of labor, technology, the questionnaire among more than 20,000 teachers of Russia have revealed that the main reasons is this lack of equipment for the practical and project works, more than 72%. Difficulty of the topics on certain educational modules, 25% of teachers. The teachers are not ready to implement the new contents of educational standards. And the recent one, there are no difficulties, 12% of the teachers, they don't see any problems. I believe that they are unaware of the digital revolution that is happening in the world, and they are quite happy with how they are. And we in Novosibirsk region, we have had the questionnaire, and that is the live questionnaire. And here through the masters, we did this work, and online education and using the educational platform. So more than half of teachers are aware of it. They are aware of the cyber hygiene. That is a must in order to preserve the psychological and physical health of our school children. Worse, the AI technologies, they believe that they are well familiar with it. If they use the chatbot, they think that this has to be split into certain number, but they believe they have it. It's good that they use it. The ability to work with the software, and the worse is skill sets to work with computer-aided machines, automated meals, or AI technologies. So if there is money, you can install the equipment quite rapidly. But if the teachers are not ready, how they're going to deliver? And talking about the ways to overcome these deficits, and the community is thinking about it. And in the letter to the Ministry of Education, it is said that the schools have to utilize all of the available resources. There are quantoriums, IT cubes, creativity houses, universities, colleges, and technoparks. So not only the educational facilities. The IT cabinet should be used at full, and my postgrads are working in such quantoriums, IT cubicles, and school children at the labor lessons. They come there, and so they try to solve this problem. Efficient digital environment usage and the usage of new methods. And talking about new methods, it was said that we need to develop creativity. And our Western colleagues, they are quite widely of this STM methods. They are widely practicing with this. IT, maths, natural sciences, they are used in a complete approach. So that is a very important push, because it should be practice-oriented projects, and the teachers work together. Project-based methods, today it is a must in schools, in midterm and in high school. there are elements of this is put in. Gamification is also in place, but with small portion. But we need a constant training of existing and future teachers, and we have the opportunity to have the online format and to establish network interactions. And the best practicing teachers, they're running the blogs, so they educate themselves, and that is the huge resource that has to be used and utilized. But that is a wish for the teachers, and those 12% that do not have any problems, I do not believe that they will go for training, because they do not see it as a target. So target setting is the main problem. And I shall say that now in my postgrads in the digital technologies and technological education, engineers come. Well, they are lacking pedagogics, however, they have very good engineering training. And the solution is to attract those engineers, though, that wish to work with teenagers and kids. And here we can find talented staff, maybe to work with them. Of course, coming from the standardized approach that one teacher and he's always improving its qualification here, his or her qualification. In the labor and technology, we need to have the diversification, otherwise it will be way more difficult to do something. So at the end, has the education become more qualitative? It is inert and cannot transform quite rapidly, otherwise we're going to lose what we have accumulated, and we will forget about the losing of values. The fact that there are changes on the state level, when the schools are being equipped, when the platforms are being created, and all teachers, they need to develop this digital competencies, and this is gradually happening. But the teachers that work, they were formed before, and their thinking is different. But I work with masters and postgrads and doctors, and we measure the youth of today, and the perception of the world has changed. My article is that the digital perception they have, they think differently, they think in different system of coordinates, they have their own vision with regards to how they should be trained and educated. So the human being got changed, and in psychology now there is a meaning of an expanded or augmented person. So that is the person that uses the resources accumulated in the internet, and the communication is done in a multi-channel way based on the tasks that the person has to solve. The motivation in educational activity is also getting transformed. The informational education is also transformed. The AI they utilized quite rapidly. The teachers work with those they work on the basis of previous practices. So there is a big digital gap, and now we're facing a problem of digital transformation of education. Here methodology is different. I have published a monography of didactics of the digital environment in 2020, but the teachers are unable to understand it. The masters start to understand it a year later. I take the graduates, the bachelors, we work for 1 year, and in June they create the project of digital environment. And from the Descartes systems they come into the volumetric system. They start seeing in the volume, and psychologically, pedagogically, and methodologically these changes. This is a very tough process. I mean, to transform the pedagogic thinking, new targets, new values, and this is going to happen, of course, but it's not going to happen quick. When the masters are going to grow, those that they will see how they should be trained and educated, and we speed up, and the AI is used. So this is a long process. So it is happening quite gradually, I mean, the improvement of quality of education. Yep, thank you so much, Tatiana. Dear colleagues, any questions to Tatiana Nikolaevna, if any?
Спасибо большое, Андрей Иванович, уважаемые спикеры.
Thank you so much, Andrei Ivanovich, for the speaker. My name is Timur Selimov. I'm from Sila Union, Moscow. We are doing with digitalization of education on the basis of corporate experience, and I would like to clarify, Tatiana Nikolaevna. Of course, a global process of digital transformation of a single subject that requires big resources. In the proposed system, what is the place is paid and taken? Do you pay attention to the corporate partners? And what is the process of financing? How available is it? And the process of exchange of experience. In the recent slide, I have had it, but I have generalized it. Well, frankly speaking, profile classes, I believe that this is, you cannot train on everything. If it is a rural environment, they have their own regional request, and they have to train on agro classes like smart house, UAVs. In St. Petersburg, there's shipbuilding, and we have such classes with basins, with the drones as well. And engineers come and they train, and we work with the universities. So this is developing, and we have specialized. I have my doctors on the engineering classes now. It's I believe this is a perspective direction when you can find industrial partners, universities and colleges. Otherwise, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, so it's not going to work out. Maybe down the line, and someone will deal with robotics, someone will deal with smart house. That says they have to. If we are talking about the creativity and self-education, we give the space of opportunities. But what the digital environment, it gives you the space of opportunities, and you select. And if we are not capable of it, then we have to attract professional partners, and then the teacher will develop in line with the student. So we need a space to exchange experience between the two industrial partners and schools. Sergey, please, the floor is yours. Yep, thank you, Tatiana Nikolaevna, for your presentation. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to ask the question. You've mentioned that education has certain inertia into it, and due to the fact that for us, in order to move to the new approach in education, then we need to survive the change of generation. But every day, the development of technology and innovations, it's happening extremely rapidly, and most probably even after change of generation. So the generation should overlook the innovations, and so that they will catch up. Will catch up with the technologies in time. And how it is planned to work with this lag so that we are not in the constant absenteeism from the current realities. I fully agree with what you have mentioned. We are creating now an article to the doctors on training of the technological. And we have to chase this train. So you train today the robotics, and it's different language, different tools. And you, in your report, you have mentioned self-education and creativity. If there is no such a target, then we have to sort at the entrance, because here, well, our department, we are constantly running, and we cannot stop because there are always new targets. And historians, literature people, they resign, they come with old records. And this should be within the head. It really, the life pushed us to do it, but it didn't push them to do it. So when the life will push you, plus there are very tough requirements for us to increase the qualification, to the publications in the scientific journals. So we just have to work it. Thank you so much. Are there any extra questions? Well, I would like to wish you you have a very tough task to solve, because out of what I have seen on the slide, you have to prepare for the school the teacher of labor or technology of a new generation. through this person, the system of general education will revive. In order to cover everything that you have mentioned, it is way and way difficult. And the final question to you, and this, will he be able to work with nails and hammers, such students? So this is the mixed methods. And this, time-wise, if we did the stool before, and it was the chair before we used to make, and it took some time. This should stay. Well, if we're going to speak about the student and from the position of the student, we might overload the student. I do hope that we're not going to, did it when in the 90s, the beginning of 2000s, when we started train children in programming. And as the result, we were not reaching the target. And over here, it is the same. Many targets that are set. Maybe we will and Andrei is mentioning it. They will go digital and they won't be able to work with their hands. Of course, we have to inform at the level of familiarization to show the full range, and the digital resource shows it. And the machine with a computer-controlled machine, you might not operate it, but you can, you do it in a demo version, say, in the software, and then the student will select what is of interest to him. And out of it, they deal with what they're going to deal with, either the robotics or Internet of Things. So it is in the solving of targets in depth. So these new formats, they're searched for. And the fact that the project, and there is a joint and teamwork, and we are forming a new hard skills. So now you're talking that in the same class, different students can deliver various types of activity based on the projects and how it's going to do during the lessons. This is a project. It's happening during the lesson and outside of the lesson. Now it is now within the regimen of the educational programs. They work for 2 years now on the project of high school, but these are hours, and for mid-school also. They work themselves, and they consulted with the teacher, and they execute this project by themselves with the assistance of teacher. All of that is there in the new standards. So these forms and formats, we are searching for it. Maybe we'll find a better approach as well. Thank you so much, dear colleagues, and we have the final speaker, Director General of Discover Soft from Kazan, Russia, Yusuf Zadeh Elgar Miferzi Oglu. Please, the floor is yours.
Andrei, thank you very much for giving the floor to me. First of all, I would like to mention that I work in digitalization of education for more than 12 years already. I was working in the sphere of digitalization of public processes in education, took part in international projects. I worked abroad, especially in the countries of the CIS, and now we work in the sphere of education in a corporate world. And for the last 3 years, I have a focus on education in the sphere of future workforce training and the digitalization of their skills. Because many of you have heard for sure that, with no offense to education, but the workforce, people after universities, after professional institutions, they are not that ready to work in the real life economy and real companies. And this is one of the factors why these huge corporations and companies, they have such structures inside of the companies which are called like corporate educational system or corporate educational benches. And all people in the sphere of development of economy, they all talk about lack of workforce. So there is not that many people out there to choose from. So the companies are facing the lack of specialists. If we are not talking about some central regions of Moscow, St. Petersburg, or Kazan in particular, actually universities are ready to admit all of the willing people, all of the willing students. It's not about the quality of education, no. It's just because they do not correspond to the level that they promise to give. Interesting thing here is that huge companies, industrial companies who are huge taxpayers and resource makers, they have their own educational system. And during all the events we meet, we talk, we discuss these issues, but there is no actual collaboration between these parties. For example, the heads of the regions of the Russian Federation, they work in the KPI system. One of the KPIs is to find out the brilliant young people, develop their skills, help them to find their professional career path, so that they will go to a specific workplace and then perform their functions. For example, out of the students of the professional educational institutions, Larisa Vladimirovna, who is head of the digitalization of education in the Khanty-Mansiysk region, she was talking about 70 up to 80% of people who, after getting the university education, they do not go to the companies, to the workplaces where they're supposed to be. So it seems like the quality of education is not corresponding. It does not equip them with the knowledge, with the willingness to go and perform the functions that they were supposed to. I was talking about the expenses already. The issue is that for huge corporate companies, businesses who are very important for the regional development, it is very hard for them to cooperate with the regional authorities in terms of educational authorities. As I mentioned, I would just be talking, expressing my own opinion, although I have the slides also prepared. For example, in our region, we have two huge industrial companies who are also ready to open up the workplaces. And education is a very very pricey process. In some of the regions, we see that the companies, they work together. They are ready to give all the resources to the educational institutions. Just help us to help us. Let's build together the educational program so that the workforce that you will be preparing in your universities and your programs, they will be ready to work for our companies. The companies what they work with, these are huge industrial players. They come to the educational institutions, they say, here are millions of rubles for you, just prepare these programs so that the students would know that we are here in this region, we need you people, we need you to finish the university programs and go and work for us. For example, in the Siberian regions, for example, this is a huge problem. Because, for example, we have 10,000 of school students in Siberian regions, and there are companies also in these regions who are ready to invest into the development of educational systems to make these pupils, the students, be aware of the opportunities of future workplace for them. But unfortunately, due to some aspects, this just does not work. It's very hard to communicate, to build a communication between these parties. In the Khanty-Mansiysk region, for example, the region itself says, dear companies, here is the access to you for educational programs. You can come to us, you can help us build these programs, implement the ideas that you need, implement the this is absolutely individual and no personal data, no personal attachment, no personal information touched. So confidentiality is secured. There's millions of ways how they can communicate, how they can cooperate. And the Khanty-Mansiysk region is the works Surgutneftgaz, Gazpromneft, one of the largest companies there. So this is like, the problem is like in a romantic situation, then you have people who are in love, but they just cannot communicate their feelings to each other. In Tatarstan, for example, we have another example, is that Minister of Digitalization of the Republic of Tatarstan very proactive in this matters. They communicate very closely to Kamaz, to other large companies of the Republic of Tatarstan. They can accumulate resources. They prepare the workforce for them. There are no representatives of Tatneft here, but Tatneft is one of the examples who are ready to spend their own money, big money, so that they can get the opportunity to communicate their message to the students, to the school pupils, to make them aware. They're here, they're ready to their workplaces for them, their future, professional future for them. Here, for example, a case from the Khanty-Mansiysk Yugra region. There is a platform, mobile platform. They are ready to offer them the gamification tools, this interactive tools. So there is no here opportunity to connect, to combine the actions of the public and private sectors. An example from the Moscow region, for example, some companies, they came to the educational authorities of the region. They said, we are ready to invest into the development of educational process. I'm not going to announce the amount of money, but this was a huge amount of money. And instead of adapting the educational process, instead of doing what they were told to do, they went to marketing strategies and spent all this money there. Finishing up, I would like to once again mention how important it is to communicate, to build communication between the companies and regional authorities, and to get the students, the local students, to get the education there in the region and then go to work in the companies which are placed there in the region. So this is because Moscow is very interactive. Some central regions are very interactive. But for the regions, it's very hard to make the students stay there in the region and continue their professional path there. It's a huge companies. They are huge taxpayers for the regions, and they're still facing these challenges. I'm not quite sure I know how to build this process, but I hope that our colleagues, that Andrei Ivanovich is going to help us to lobby this information to get to attract attention to this problem. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any questions to our speaker? Thank you very much for your presentation. I would also would like to briefly share with you my experiences. Our company, just recently we had a case of working together with a company who had a corporate academy inside of them. This was a company dealing in the mining, huge mining company in the rural region. They also have this cases of communicating to the students who they would like to educate and then hire as workforce, but unfortunately it's still not happening because many of them still are migrating then to the capital regions of the Russian Federation. Yes, I am aware of this problem or this issue when students are leaving the Ural regions and then going and moving to other more central regions of the Russian Federation. The problem is that the companies and the regional authorities, they are communicating and cooperating together very well. But there's a problem that the parents who work for these mining companies, for these industrial companies, they make everything what is possible to make their children go away and not working for this company. So this is a good example of cooperation between companies and regional authorities, but they miss the communication with the parents. Because parents, they come to the company and they say, we would love to work here, but our parents work here and they say that this is not a good idea. Maybe this is like some negative experience from the 90s or the beginning of the 2000s. So they need to build up their communication with the parents as well. So in the scheme of communicating between the student and state, we need to include also companies and the parents of the students, because this is a joint information environment where they all should be communicating very well. Thank you for your answer. Thank you for presenting, Elgar. I think you have a very interesting issues. You have mentioned very interesting issues. I would like to maybe give some comments on why you were mentioning the case about spending money to the marketing and not to the educational process there in the central regions. I would like to comment on that. I think the Soviet experience is not the experience we should rely on now, but still, the percentage of people who were going through the higher educational institutions was 18 to 20% those times, in the Soviet times. And now, more than 60% of students, they go through the higher educational institutions and get the higher educational diploma. That is why we have the problem of, spending too much money on marketing. But I think they are going to moving towards the end of our discussion. At the end of our discussion, I would like to mention, to quote some important ideas. There was a writer, and people of older generations, they know about his name, Ilya Ilf. In the 30s years of the last century, he wrote that previously in fantastic novels were talking about that the happiness will be brought by radio. But now radio is in every house, but there is still no happiness. Why do I quote this? Is that during building this digital educational process, the only thing we should keep in mind, and we are not allowed to forget about it, is about the student, pupil, it's digitalization for the people and not people for digitalization. And with this quotation, I would allow myself of finishing up our discussion and once again extend my gratitude to all of the speakers, to all of the participants, and all of the guests. Thank you.
Спасибо.